All right, Grand Rising, my fellow fellow Elohim. Welcome back to another sunny Sunday of the One Great I Am. Awakening, I'm Chris Taylor, one of your hosts, and my partner in spirit and in mind, Mr. Gregory Isaac Thomas. Sir T, I know you're on the road, so.
Yes, it is I. Yeah, greetings to everyone. Thanks for joining. It's early in the morning over here in Collier County, but nonetheless, we are here to go deeper into what we've already started. There's no point in turning back at this point. We have to see some manifestations, Sir Chris. And we've seen many, but we're still in the process of mastering. And guys, don't be daunted, don't be dismayed. You will never master this thing. You're always, as Chris and we have said, it's always happening. You're always mastering this craft. But just know assuredly that there is a naturalness. Last night while I was up, I was listening to some tips and things, and it came to my Sir Chris that there is a naturalness that will ensure. Remember when he used to believe in a God, if you used to believe in a foreign God, a God far off. Just like you used to trust that there is a God who will take care of you and make sure everything is okay. There's a natural process, there's a naturalness to your consciousness that will allow whatever you are seeking for to come to you naturally. As the problem that we're having in our circles, why we're not letting go, therefore we're not seeing our manifestations. The problem that we're having, and we repeat it a million times, but it still remains a problem, so we might as well keep repeating it until we get that problem out of the way. The problem that we have is we still want to know how. And the wholeness, it's going to happen naturally. It's going to happen. There's a natural phenomenon behind the physical you that the right ears. Even the consciousness of you, which is the true essence of you, even the consciousness of you, there's a natural phenomenon behind that. If that natural phenomenon is what you call God, all right, there is God. But God is natural, it's not supernatural. It's a naturalness. There's a natural phenomenon that will take care of it. It will happen naturally. I hope that gives you enough comfort and enough that you can trust into the thing enough to let the seed go. And let the wholeness of the manifestation go. And the wellness of that, let it go. Because it's going to happen naturally. That's all you know about the happening of it. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. But you know that it's going to happen naturally. And that there is a naturalness to all things. There's a naturalness behind everything that you see happening. That you will never know until it comes true. You can only see the how of it afterwards. You can only see the how of it afterwards. You will never be able to see the journey beforehand. Looking back, after you have got to the destination, you can trace the journey back and see what happened. But until then, you will not know. The only thing that you know about that journey is that it will happen. And it will happen in what way, Sir Chris?
Naturally.
Naturally.
Nature. Second nature,
Second nature. Nature is the answer to all things, and we have to give. So the farmer dropping the seed. When him drop the seed, what him doing, him turn it over to nature for it to happen naturally. And that's what we have to realize. And this is with everything that we're doing, brethren. It's gonna happen naturally. How did it appear upon this earth? That's where we get the supernatural thing from, is when we start to think, well, where did the first man come from? The first man come from the same place where the last man where you see come. See how him come, so the first one did come. The last one that you saw come on the earth, the newborn baby where you see last week or since morning. How did that baby come here? Naturally. So how did the first one?
Natural birth.
Correct. So how did the
Natural
first
birth.
one come? The first one come the same way, naturally. How did the sun and the moon and the stars and all these things come naturally? Stop worrying about how it come and who put it there. Not. If anything, put it there is a brother named naturally, or a brother named nature.
That's what the Asian call this consciousness, nature.
Nature.
Yeah, nature. Yeah.
Nature.
Yeah.
So just leave everything to nature, my friends. Everything will happen naturally. When it was time for you to be born in this earth, you notice you never have to go search your parents and tell them so they must. Virgin, if your mother and your father did have sex, half hour after them have sex, even if them have a baby, I wouldn't you know. If them have sex 45 minutes later from the time them have sex, even if them have a baby, it wouldn't be you. But when it was time for you to come forth, you came forth how? Naturally. Your father naturally feel the urge in that moment, and your mother naturally say yes in that moment. She tell him no 6 hours ago. Naturally, and when it's time for you to depart this earth, whether you depart what them call natural death or accidental death, it's still gonna happen naturally. Everything happens naturally. And there is a power beyond you, beyond your consciousness, which is your consciousness is the most detailed part of you that you are in tune with, your consciousness. But even your consciousness, there's a naturality behind even that. So just trust the naturality. Everything shall happen. Everything shall happen naturally. You don't have to force it, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to put in nobody for work into it. You have to work, but you're not working to create something new. So perish the thought that you're working to create something new, so you see it as being difficult. No, all you're doing is occupying the consciousness of something that already exists. That's all you're doing.
Allowing.
You're just allowing, correct. You're just allowing, and you have to allow it naturally. Occupy the consciousness naturally. And you will know when it's naturally when you leave it alone. If you don't leave it alone, if you don't let it go to your hand, then you're not doing it naturally. Unless a grain of wheat fall into the ground and die, then it abide by itself. But if you let it go and make it die, then it will bring forth 1,000-fold. So, Chris.
Yeah, man. That's the thing that we struggle with, sir, is that we read the book, the supernatural book, or the parable book, because parables are supernatural statements. They are all supernatural.
Right.
You understand? Because we embed in our consciousness that these things happened, past tense. That for anything for us to happen, it has to be what they call it a miracle, which is a supernatural claim. A miracle is nothing more than something that you cannot explain how something happens, so you say it's a miracle. But it's still natural. Still natural. When you check the sequences, it comes a natural way. Unless it magically appear, if you want to call it that. If it just magically appear, like they say, do magic with pulling the rabbit out of the hat, or maybe like on Star Trek where them do Star Trek where them go in the elevator and them transplant themselves somewhere else or whatever.
But Chris, even
yes,
when
it's
the
happening like
magician,
that. It's not no supernatural. It's natural.
Even when the magician but the thing and you not see how it happens, so you think it's magic. To him, it happened naturally because him know where he do. You because you don't know where you do, why you think it's magic.
Oh yeah, it's natural.
That's why you think
it's not supernatural. Yeah.
But to him, it's natural.
Yeah. It's an illusion on the eyes,
If Jesus had used the 2 fish and 5 pieces of bread or whatever the thing was, if he did that, to the crowd it seemed supernatural, but to him he did it naturally. And for sure he do it naturally. If you ask him to do it again, he can do it again.
Yeah.
It happened naturally. Everything is natural, Dread, not supernatural. There's a nature behind everything. Nature. Notice everything that we see happen. Everything that we see happening is happening naturally. The sun get up naturally every morning and shine. You don't have to do nothing to it for it happen.
No. And that's what we struggle with when we get it in our minds that things flow, things is natural, like a stream, flowing downward. You'll never see a stream flow up.
Right.
That's not its nature. It's not natural. that would
it's not natural.
That would be supernatural. It has to flow down. You understand? And when we get our minds to flow like that and join the nature of everything that we see around us, that's when our manifestation will become normal and easy, and less, no strife, no struggle, no strain, just complete autonomy.
If there's strain involved, then it's not natural. You notice when spring finish and summer start, you will never find two. Look, spring and summer, brother. Them two things they not go together. Two totally different experiences,
Yeah.
But you notice spring now if you muscle up and do not at all if summer come forth. Spring just stop and summer just come naturally.
Yeah.
Night just what is the line? There's a thin line between night and day, But it not struggle to get there. It happens naturally.
Natural fusion, just fuse in, fuse out.
That's how everything else happens, Richard.
No break.
Even the unlikely things that you see happen that you call accidents and whatever, they happen naturally. Something happened that caused it to happen and it just happened. Notice I know someone do something. No. Nothing in nature is being officiated by someone. It's all being caused by something. Natural. Look, listen to me, Virgin. One of the most fabulous things that can happen on this earth is for a man and a woman come together and bring forth another human being. If you want to talk about miracle, that's a miracle. For a man and a woman, and if you notice, everybody can do it. The rich man can do it, you know, cause him nothing. The poor man can do it, you know, cause him nothing either. It just happened naturally.
Yeah.
And the greatest miracle that has ever been just come forth. Two ugly people can come together and bring forth a beautiful baby naturally.
Mixed races, same thing.
Mixed races naturally.
No force.
We're saying all this, friends, to get you guys to relax your mind about everything. It will happen naturally. It will happen naturally. You came here naturally, you will leave here naturally, and everything else that you see happening around you in your world, it's happening naturally.
Are we understand it?
Yes. And if you want to change, if you want to change it, all you have to do is allow. I'm not a master at it, Sir Chris. I don't want anybody to say, boy, sir, you are like this, you're a master. No. I'm not a master at it, but I can go back through the track record and see the things that I have done intentionally and see how they all happen. They all follow the natural path. I'm talking the things when we set out to do and get it done. It followed a natural path, and if it required 1,000 men to come by and help me, the 1,000 men came and I never have to go look for none of them.
Yeah.
And if it only requires one man to come, two now come, or one go come.
Yeah.
So breathe easy about things, my friends. Let it go. And when I say it, I'm talking about the things that you have held in your mind that keep burdening you down. I'm talking about these negative thoughts, these negative self-impressions where you have about yourself that you're holding in your mind. And that's who you used to be. That's not who you are. I don't care what you did do yesterday. I don't care what you did do yesterday. If you choose to be a different person today, you can always be a different person today. No matter how negative your mindset was yesterday, you can start changing today. By just letting some things go. And it might, sometimes to let some things go, you have a, whatever you have to do, it's going to be worth it. If you have a change state, change zip code, if you have to move around some people, if you, whatever you have to do, to let some things go, you have to, because I'm not just see the farmer, I'm not just see the farmer have to let go in the side. If everything else that is going to impede that seed, he has to let those go too. Let it go. Naturally. Circus. I'm gonna be in a building for a few minutes taking care of one thing. I'll be back.
Right.
But I'll be listening, all right?
Okay, man.
All right, peace.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that intro right there. Setting the foundation, let go and let's go. All right. Let go and let's go. Let's get to a few very short audios from Neville to further add to some of the stuff that we just mentioned here about letting go. Until you let go, your desires, your wishes, your goals, your dreams, your hopes, if you want to throw that in there, they will not show. They will not show their faces because sometimes we um, we are conditioning the thing far too long, far too often. It's holding on to the seed, not letting it drop into the soil, so it can grow. So let's look at these short, call them shorts, YouTube shorts of Neville that is going to expose, a paradox that we have not yet quite grasped. Interestingly, speaking of letting go, we haven't grasped the art of letting go. All right. So let's listen to Neville right here. This one is in his own voice. And I have another one here. And I came across another one as well. Give me a second here. So it's three very short audios, but going to probably play them multiple times as well. Where is it? Okay, so here's another one here.
I remember a time when I was constantly trying to control everything in my life.
Let's play the first. And then we get to those guys. So this one right here. Take a listen. This is Neville in his own voice talking about why you must let go for a fulfilling life.
A seed must be let go. I can hold it in my hand. A seed must fall into the ground and die before it is made alive. It's the little things that you don't care about. All the little insignificant things. So you feel them intensely and you drop them because the other things are so big and so important. The other things you're holding on to, you haven't dropped them at all. You haven't dropped them. You want to be happily married. You want more money. You want a home of your own, but you hold on to them. You don't let them go as you do the little things. And the little things, because you drop them like seeds into the ground, they're popping up all day long, confronting you, but you don't recognize your own harvest. If I am going to be the vine of eternity, and I am the eternal vine, I can only grow what I feed myself mentally. What am I feeding myself morning, noon, and night? A seed must be let go. I can hold it in my hand. A seed must fall into the ground and die before it is made alive. It's the little things that you don't care about. All the little insignificant things. So you feel them intensely and you drop them because the other things are so big and so important. The other things you're holding on to, you haven't dropped them at all. You haven't dropped them. You want to be happily married. You want more money. You want a home of your own, but you hold on to them. You don't let them go as you do the little things. And the little things, because you drop them like seeds into the ground, they're popping up all day long, confronting you, but you don't recognize your own harvest. If I am going to be the vine of eternity, and I am the eternal vine, I can only grow what I feed myself mentally. What am I feeding myself morning, noon, and night?
All right, so let's address this first one. All right. Very interesting. That's in Neville's own voice. Quick, short, talking about the art of letting go. He mentioned using this metaphor, which is not really a metaphor. It's actually reality when we talk about the seed and the soil, but you know, in scripture, we were given quite a few examples of the farmer and the soil, you know. And who's the farmer here? The farmer is the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is the first nature. It's the one that you are always aware of. You know you exist. You know you have five senses. Um, Everything around you is apparent. No question about it. So that's their first nature. And you know, I know we come down hard on the conscious mind at times because of the indiscipline of it, you know, in how we grew up and how we were raised, you know, within society and all the things that influences the conscious mind. But it's a rather necessary mind to have because without it, you cannot desire. Nothing will ever come into your mind that you, as we're talking about desires today, you know, until you let go, your desires will not show. The conscious mind has to desire something, but it does not know that's its only job is to desire. It thinks it's supposed to figure out how to bring about the desire as well. It's almost as if it is unconscious that it has a greater side to it, the other side of the coin, that is far more vast and knowledgeable, wise, intuitive, and all this type of stuff, imaginative. It does not know that this side is there. And so it's working in ignorance, striving to manifest and bring forth things. So who has to let go here? The one to let go is the conscious mind. So we're not telling you to let go of your desire. This is a paradox in a way where you're supposed to keep in mind, keep crucified to you your desire. Because the first thing you have to do, which we've spoken about in desiring, is crucifying that desire to you. Okay? And the part of you that you know you're crucifying this desire to, you know, is the side of you that is not known. So you're trying to attach it to that side, the subconscious. Okay? So you're going to be holding on to your desire. So just understand what we're saying here. What we're saying is there is two sides of the coin. Is one coin, there's two sides of it. One side has the desire, then let go of that desire so that the other side can bring it forth. So try to understand that. The conscious mind is the farmer and the subconscious is the soil. The farmer decides to grow corn or peas or orange trees and whatnot. So he desires to plant it in the soil. But until he plants it into the soil, it cannot die and then grow. You understand? It cannot die and then live. So the story that we were told, because that's all it is a story of consciousness, where Jesus was crucified to the cross. That's your savior. Whatever it is your desire is, that's your savior. You have to crucify it to your awareness. That desire is your savior. Crucify it to your awareness. You then bury it into the soil, as the story tells you that Jesus was taken off the cross and buried, all right, and rose in 3 days, all right, buried on the sixth day, which is a Friday, because six is when you finish whatever it is that you're consciously or unconsciously, for the most part, but consciously desiring or configuring, you know, designing in your own mind, in your conscious mind. And when you're through with it, you leave it be. That's the end of the the configuring or meditating or conditioning, whatever you want to call it, that's the end of it. You then bury it, okay, on that same day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right. Those are the 3 days the scripture is talking about. You bury it that same day, and in 3 days it's going to rise and live. So they're telling you how something that you desire goes through the process of first being attached to your consciousness. Once you are done conditioning it consciously with the conscious mind, you then bury it into the soil, okay, for it to die and then resurrect, become alive and live and become what saves you, okay? So that's all the story is telling you in that sense. And that's what we're talking about here today. And until you let go of that seed, the seed is your desire. Until you let go of that seed and give it to the subconscious, which is the soil within you that grows, that make things alive, the womb, you know, the Eve, as spoken of in Genesis, that is to bear all your children and is to suffer, in pain and all this type of stuff. It's not talking about pain as we know it. These are all just what I call it now, exaggerations to, you know, make the picture vivid and something that you can identify or connect to in life itself. Okay, but these are just exaggerations of consciousness. To suffer does not mean, as we know it, to be in pain or to be, striving or whatever. It is just to the responsibility of you bringing forth something, cause you to stay with it, to wrestle with it, and to until it becomes manifested. In scripture, the soil was also a curse, and said, "Man shall work by the sweat, shall eat by the sweat of their brow." And the soil is also cursed, just as Eve was cursed. Why would you curse the soil? Because the soil has to bring forth fruits and vegetation and stuff like that. It's not a curse as we know it. It is just a subjection as to where the soil has no choice but to subject itself to any seed planted in it, within it. It's going to be the one or the thing responsible for bringing forth your vegetation or your garden and whatnot. Okay, so these are just play on words, exaggeration by the people who are whoever they were who wrote the Bible. None of these things are historical or make any sense that you can curse the ground. It is what it is. It can only do that, bring forth things. It's a living organism, okay? And that's his job, to bring forth seeds. So using it as a parable or a metaphor in that sense, this is what we're doing within our own mind. Our subconscious is the soil, and it cannot not be what it is. It has no ability to reject or to deny anything you plant in it, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. It has no power to do that. Zero. So when they tell you, say, God can't do anything, it is a yes and no. The God within you is primarily the subconscious mind. It works by a law. Anything you put in it, it can do it. But it cannot do anything until you put something in it. Okay? So yes, it can do anything that you put within it. And no, until you do, nothing will show. That makes sense? It won't do anything until you release or let go of the constant conditioning or worry, or as Reverend I'd like to say, frustration of how this thing is going to manifest, how it is going to come about. So these are the things that we get ourselves tied up into because we want to know how it is going to happen. And when you try to know how something is going to happen, you will continue to hold on to the desire. That is an example of holding on to it because you haven't let it go to the subconscious. The subconscious cannot do anything with it if the conscious mind, you consciously worrying when and how and where and if it is going to happen. And these things are apparent to us because we have a deadline most of the time when we want something to happen. We have a deadline. So if we have a deadline, you're not certain if you're going to meet the deadline. And so now you're trying to force it. You're trying to go upstream with the how. And all you have to concern yourself with is the wish fulfilled, living in the end, as Neville teaches us to do. Live in the end. See yourself already having the experience rather than waiting to have the experience or hoping to have the experience or wishing all these different things. You should just, in your own mind, using your imagination, to imagine the state of the wish already fulfilled. And it's easier to do that when you can let go of the conditioning or let go of the thing that you do desire or need in some cases to happen. So it's a trick that you have to play on your mind in the art of letting go what is pressing. And it's unfortunately it's always something that we need yesterday, last week, last month. And this is why we have we struggle with keeping the flow of how consciousness works naturally, or just how our nature works. Um, as we said earlier, Serti said earlier, the farmer plants the seed, the tree grows up, produces more seeds to be planted again, and it just flows just like that naturally. No strife, no effort. It's effortless effort, as they would say. Okay, no effort whatsoever. It's just going about its business, adhering to the law. Another name for nature is also law. It's a law that it cannot change or be other than. It is a fixed/universal law that you cannot undo. You can only work within the law or abide by the law. Nothing different than, whatever laws we set here as humans in this world. In order for you to, have an easygoing life or existence, you have to live within the laws that is set wherever you live. Okay, and as soon as you break them or try to go against them, there are repercussions. The only difference with those laws is that we can amend them or change them, do away with them anytime we please. Sometimes the laws are too strict and restrictive, and down the road we come to our senses and we amend them and whatnot. But those are laws that are necessary to keep us in harmony or organized, so to speak. Driving on the road, we need stoplight, we need stop signs, we need lines in the road, we need all these things to keep us flowing. But the universal laws are unchanging. You cannot do anything about the conscious and the subconscious mind. Those minds, these two minds work by laws that cannot be broken. But you can learn and use them accordingly, and it will work with you rather than against you. So keep in mind, guys, we were not taught these things about our mind. We were taught that there's a God in the sky. Imagine our own consciousness is this God, our own consciousness. So if we don't or did not know that, how can we function properly? Hmm? If no one taught you that, you know, to drive the vehicle, you have to first, press on the brake and not the gas. You don't start the car with your foot on the gas. You understand? Or even worse, you don't put the car in drive before you start the car. If you notice you cannot do it. And I'm sure there probably was a time when you could before they figured out how to prevent that. Okay? But as you can see, these things are set so you don't make those mistakes, in learning how to drive and whatnot. But for some reason, no one has taught us, no one has shown us or give us any instructions. As them say, life don't come with a manual. We have no manual on how our consciousness works. These are things that we had to find out along the way. And all we're doing here is putting the word out so that people can look into themselves, look at life, study it, and realize that, oh yeah, this makes sense. Or this, whatever we used to do makes no sense. And this one makes more sense. So we're getting the word out that the conscious mind being the farmer, the subconscious the soil. They are um, husband and wife, father and mother, um, and they're always together. No separation whatsoever. But unconsciously, we operate in a separate state. Unknowingly, or it's unbeknownst to us that there is another. Unbeknownst to the conscious mind, we do not know that there's another, or there's a greater side to our existence, to our being. We think all we are just some human beings with a mind that can think, and that's it. Not realizing everything that's ever happened and ever will happen, we are the creator of it. Okay? We don't live by faith in saying, well, this is supposed to happen at a specific time. No such thing. Okay? We're always creating every day different outcomes or experiences. And something interesting that never just mentioned here on the tape is that we seem to manifest the little things, the simple things that are insignificant to us. So we think. And so we let go of those things. And they just manifest. But the things that are pressing, that is very significant to us, we have a hard time manifesting these things, because I saw a video today, an example of it was that if you're home sitting down on your bed and you throw your phone up in the air, you're over the bed. If the phone falls, it falls. If it doesn't, it doesn't, because you are certain that it's not going to break. But if you ever go over, you're in a 40-story building and you're at the ledge and you throw the phone up in the air, the fear that you're going to have in catching that phone, you might not even catch it. Even if it falls in your hand, you're so tense because you are already envisioning the outcome, the fall, not envisioning the catch or the save, so to speak. Your mind is not fixated on how you're going to prevent your phone from falling. Your mind is fixated on the worst outcome, which is if the phone falls, it is no longer. And why is it that? Because the phone is very important to you. but there are times where it's important to you, but you're not worried about the outcome. If you throw it up over the bed, if it falls, you're not worried about the outcome. And so, interestingly, you happen to catch the phone every time you throw it up because you're not worried about the outcome. If it falls, it falls. So you see, you're letting go of the outcome. Okay? And so your desire is to catch the phone. That's what your desire is. So you're letting go of any kind of strife or resistance or whatnot. But the minute you put yourself in a more, a worse outcome or some kind of predicament, you suffer or struggle with the outcome. The outcome you're looking for is to still catch the phone, but your mind is on something even worse: the phone falling and not working for you anymore. Because it's very important. And so picture that as our biggest desires, whatever those may be. The bigger the desire, it's almost like that ledge and phone, analogy or example. It's you're worried about the outcome is you desired for it to happen, but the other side of it is that you're looking at all the restrictions, all the impediments, all the things that's going to prevent it from happening. Your mind is more fixated on that. And that's why you don't get those outcomes. Or I should say we, because every one of us here is included. We don't get these outcomes because our consciousness, our conscious mind is more fixated on the reason it may not happen, or all the different times we tried before it never happened, or examples of people we know. Somebody might go to the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica 5 times and got denied. And so you're now going for the first time and your mind is fixated on the 5 times that person got denied. And you're saying, well, this person got their stuff together, why would they deny them? I don't have my stuff together. So they're certainly going to deny me. So you're always fixated on the negative or the more popular or common outcome, because we seem to be disappointed more than we get what we want, So we fixate our minds on these things. And what we're saying here is that we have to have zero fear of the outcome. We have zero fear of the outcome. We have zero fear with the phone tossed over the bed. We have to learn to have zero fear with the phone tossed over the ledge. If we can condition our conscious mind. We've seen people do these things, these what do you call it, these daredevils. They do these things, but they first have to condition their mind. They do things that we would never even dream of doing. Like even in our dreams, we wouldn't do it. Not even a dream. That's not real. Wouldn't do it. But these people have conditioned their minds to put themselves out there, and for whatever reason, they're able to let go of the outcome or the consequences, and they perform just fine. And so that's what we're telling ourselves here, is to get to the part where our minds can let go of the outcome, whether it's going to happen or not. That's truly letting go. When you plant the seed in the soil, you already know it's not going to grow today or tomorrow or next week. You probably won't even see it for a month. No sign of it. But you let go because you have other things occupying your time. First of all, you don't even have to give it water. The rain fall, sunshine. If the rain don't fall, all you have to do is give it water. But you don't worry about the sun shining, because the sun come every day. So that part of it is set. And then other things take away your attention from going back to see the thing grows. And one day, out of the blue, when you're not even paying attention, the thing has been growing a whole 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I didn't even realize it. It's probably like 6 inches tall. Completely oblivious to even the thing growing, because you had for forgotten about it. You had what? Let go. You had let go of the conditioning of going back and forth, checking to see how it is going to come, when it's going to come, if it's going to come. So our issue is just letting go. As them say, let go and let God. That's what they mean. That Christians don't know what they're saying because they're thinking of an external being. But the God we're talking about here is let go, the conscious mind, letting go of the desire that you've already conditioned and attach it to the subconscious. You are not letting go of the want or the or looking forward to having the experience, whatever it may be. You're not letting go of that. You are still attached to it. But you have to work with your partner, your subconscious mind. Your subconscious has to do its part. That's the greater mind or the greater side of you that is going to bring forth your manifestation. If you want to have a child, a man cannot impregnate himself. And so naturally, by nature, by observation, whether it be an animal or another human being, that you have to have intercourse with a female, the opposite side of you. You know that. It's no secret. You don't have to ask anybody. You see it. Okay? And you do it, and the baby comes naturally. Interestingly, we were not told that our mind works the very same way, the exact same way. And how do you know this? Scripture tells you that we were made in the image and likeness of God. So if you're made in the image and likeness of God and you see yourself doing all these different things and having babies and all this different stuff naturally, then the most same way God work. It got to be the same way, which is the mind, your awareness. It's the same way the awareness work. We are made in the same image and likeness. We're doing the exact same thing that consciousness does. The exact same thing, no different. But it is so natural or normal, ordinary, that we don't realize it. It is too easy. There's no strife. There's no uphill battle. It just happens so naturally. But we put this God on a pedestal that everything this God does is hard. It's supernatural. Only him alone can do it. At least so we were told. And not realizing that all the things that's ever been transpiring, we've been doing it. No matter what it is in this world, how we are doing it collectively, using our consciousness, who is this God spoken of in scripture. Okay? So I have another tape I'm going to play, another quick short, and but just wanted to discuss that part right there, especially with never mentioning the ease of manifesting simple things, but we struggle with manifesting the bigger things, the more pressing or important things, if you will. And it's because we're too attached to it. We're too worried about the outcome, and we won't let it go so that the subconscious can figure it out for us. So the trick is get your minds occupied with something else, which will keep you oblivious or away from trying to see when it's coming or how it's coming. And the minute you do, it comes upon you like a thief in the night. And that's when you will have your manifestation. Okay? Let's look at this next video or clip. Where is it at? Here it is. And we're going to come right back. Take a listen.
Tonight, I want to invite you into a realm that very few enter, though all are welcome. This realm is not a place you go to, but a state you awaken within. It is the sacred state of absolute trust, a complete relaxation into the knowledge that what you desire is already yours. For what you seek, you already are. And what you wish to become, you are becoming by assuming that you are it. I speak to you not from theory, but from the eternal truth, echoed by mystics across time. You do not manifest by effort, but by feeling. You do not manifest by striving, but by surrender. You do not need to force the universe. You only need to trust it. You see, the greatest barrier to manifestation is not lack of belief, but the presence of control. We seek to force outcomes, to manipulate circumstances, to anxiously check if our seed has sprouted, not realizing that every time we dig into the soil to look, we uproot the very dream we planted. My dear friends, tonight, I want to invite you into a realm that very few enter, though all are welcome. This realm is not a place you go to, but a state you awaken within. It is the sacred state of absolute trust, a complete relaxation into the knowledge that what you desire is already yours. For what you seek, you already are. And what you wish to become, you are becoming by assuming that you are it. I speak to you not from theory, but from the eternal truth, echoed by mystics across time. You do not manifest by effort, but by feeling. You do not manifest by striving, but by surrender. You do not need to force the universe. You only need to trust it. You see, the greatest barrier to manifestation is not lack of belief, but the presence of control. We seek to force outcomes, to manipulate circumstances, to anxiously check if our seed has sprouted, not realizing that every time we dig into the soil to look, we uproot the very dream we planted. My dear friends,
All right, so another level, but in this one, it's talking about, just another way of manifesting, or telling you what is the key ingredient in manifesting along the lines of letting go is to garner the faith, the feeling, which Surti has analogy, no, what do you call it? No, the faith, feeling as if this happens, it's faith by way of feeling. So you feel as if this being your desire already happened, past tense. So as Never just said right here, you are supposed to assume the state, live in the end. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't try to control the manifestation. Surrender. Give yourself up. I mean, isn't that what the scripture said with this Jesus character? He never struggled with the guys who came to pick him up, the guards. He just give up himself. Okay? He surrendered. It's a story of consciousness and how it works, or should work rather, in any time we have a desire, which is your savior. Your desire is your savior. Your desire is this Jesus. There is no other Jesus besides your desires, whatever it is to save you, okay? Or aid you, if you want to use that term. So you have to surrender this desire, to get crucified to your consciousness, okay? You have to let it go. And the part of your consciousness you're allowing this thing to be crucified to is the subconscious mind, the deeper mind. That's why it's called sub. It's below, it's below your awareness, below your consciousness. And it has no end. It's our beginning. It's very deep, very vast. All things exist there. Okay? And you're becoming conscious of, as I Never just said right here, aligning yourself or just becoming aware of what already is, what you already are. So you're not forcing anything. You're just confirming that you're now in alignment with a particular desire or experience and whatnot. So there's nothing to force or nothing to create necessarily. Creation is a finished product. We're just, as Neville would say, ordering what we desire and just wait. There's nothing to be made. Okay? All things already exist in consciousness. So all we're doing is becoming conscious of these things. We're becoming aware of these things. And the next thing what we have to do is to vibrate on these levels of the things that we desire. And one of the strongest vibration, or the strongest vibration, is feeling. You know, thought is a vibration, but feeling is stronger than thought. Okay, so you have to have the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You might think of going to your favorite, you know, vacation spot, but you don't have the money this time around. But put yourself in the mood, as Neville would say, catch the mood, garner the feeling that you are already having the experience. Or if you've had the experience before, there once before, and this time you want to go back, but you don't have the money, well, go back to how you were feeling when you were there before. You know, you did it before. It's just that this time, for whatever reason, you don't have the funds, or other things are pressing, or, you know, more important. Just go back to how you felt when you were there the first time, and remind yourself of how, you know, great the experience was, and what fun it was, and boy, I wish you didn't have to leave, and all these different feelings that you had. Go back to that state and dwell there, and let go of the idea that you don't have the money, or you don't have the way, or you don't know when, you don't know how. Because the sooner you let go of these things, and that's another way you can see it, say it, the sooner you let go is the sooner your desire will show. All right? Let go of all these things that you are holding on to that is impeding the outcome. And as soon as you let go of these things, or the sooner you do, the subconscious will take hold of it. And long as you don't interfere or intervene, the subconscious is working tirelessly. Okay? Meaning no rest. Tirelessly, no rest. Just always at work behind the scenes, literally, and communicating with the Father, which is the superconscious, that being, if it takes 1,000 men, as Sir T said earlier, to make your dream or desire come true, that's the Father right there, those thousand men and women that the subconscious is communicating with, okay, to bring forth your desire. And these people have zero idea the part that they're playing, because consciousness is one, okay? It's one grand mind, universal mind, that has divided itself into the many. So it cannot separate itself whatsoever. It's indivisible, indivisible, okay? Inseparable, always aware of itself wherever we are. Always there. But you don't have to consciously understand that and how it works. The subconscious already does. So leave everything up to your subconscious mind to calculate, regulate, and or create, to use that word, your desires. Your job is only to have the desire, condition it, design it, and when you've garnered that satisfaction, that mood or feeling that it is what you say it is, as we said weeks ago, you let it go. Everything we look at has to be just like a seed. We never question the seed if it is a seed. We know We've never questioned a seed if it's a seed. No matter how different or funny it look from other seeds, we know it's a seed and we don't question if it's going to grow. We just drop it in the soil. We know exactly what to do. So we have to, and that's a natural occurrence. But for whatever reason, when it comes to our consciousness, we strive with using it naturally. And what's the natural state of consciousness? As I just mentioned, conscious mind desires is the farmer. You desire something, you condition it, you prepare the soil, you're doing all these different things. You're the farmer, you know exactly how many of the thing you want, and you plant them accordingly. Cover everything back up, let it water it, and let it be. The sun will come, shine, and in due time it will spring. But you have to go in that order. You can't rest the seed on top of the ground. It's not going to grow. It has to go beneath. It has to grow in the soil, crucified to the soil, crucified to the subconscious, and let it go. Do not go back and dig it up, as the video is mentioned, to see if it's growing, how long it's taking. You're going to break the process or any progress it was making. It's going to have to start all over again. And that's what we do when we do not let go. So until you let go, your desires will not show. Again, we're saying not letting go of the thing you desire in that sense, meaning that I don't want it anymore. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is letting go of the need to know how it is going to happen, letting go of how it is going to happen, when, if, where, letting go of the fact that you don't have the money, you don't have the credit, you don't have the means or the know-how. Sometimes it's the knowledge you lack. Let go of that. You don't know how it is done. Somebody out there does. Okay, that person will be found and brought to your awareness, and then you can collaborate and get the thing done you're trying to get done. But do not spend any time bringing down yourself on if and how and when, or is it even possible for this thing to happen. Okay, you have a greater mind, a greater side of your awareness, the subconscious, the Father within you, that knows how to do everything. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here today. Giving everything up to your subconscious to carry out the what you've ordered. Your subconscious is your waiter, Okay, that's the waiter that comes to you and asks you, what can I get for you? Have you ever ordered anything from a waiter or waitress and wondered if you're going to get it? Never. You may wonder if it's going to taste good or how long it's going to take, but you know it's coming. Never doubt. Not one bit. Okay? And that's a natural state of existence. So if we could just naturalize, to use that word, of when we desire something, if we could just get to that state where it's natural, in using that analogy, then it's the same thing. Because, especially when it comes to money, you might say to yourself, I would love to make, say, 50,000 a month. To most of us, that's not believable. 50,000 a year, yeah, man, can't do that. That's only such and such a week. you know the math right off the bat. But to make 50,000 a month, that's 600,000 for the year. You can't grasp that. Your conscious mind starts to argue with itself now as to how that's even possible. You have really put yourself in a predicament now, because this is out of your league, as they would say. So that can create an issue when you're thinking of how to manifest such an example or extraordinary amount of money, you know. So starting with a number that's more believable to help train your consciousness or to accept your claim, you know. So sometimes you have to start it with something that the conscious mind believes, because the only person that thing that needs to believe in terms of your consciousness is your conscious mind. Huh? The subconscious mind does not believe; it knows. There's no believing in the subconscious mind whatsoever. It does not know what belief is. All it knows is everything that is, anything you want, I got it. I'm the genie. You know, just make your wish. I got you. But the conscious mind has to believe, you know, meaning accept what it thinks it can do or can have or experience. So you start with a smaller number that is more acceptable. The purpose for this is so that your subconscious mind will accept it. And then once you get to that stage where that part manifests, you're now more in a more receptive mode. You know that you can do it. You know you have done it. So now you can desire more, because once you've done it, you can do it again and again and again and again. So sometimes we kind of shock our consciousness by desiring something that is not in our belief system, not in our league. We don't have the knowledge, we don't have the 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 connections, we don't have the know-how, all the different things, and our consciousness struggles with that. And then because we're struggling with it consciously, primarily your conscious mind, you cannot move forward, you know. So you have to do something in your mind that you feel, to use that word, is possible. Okay. So sometimes that's what it is. That's why some of us can manifest a particular thing that another person might think, oh, I could never do that, because we're on different levels of belief or different levels of feeling or different levels of awareness, you know. But though we be on different levels, we are all capable. We're all capable of making $1 million a month. The issue is our awareness is not there. Okay. So don't wish to make or claim to make $1 million a month. You know, do something, say something that is that your consciousness can accept, that you can consciously accept, and work on that. So you know, Neville and others may instruct you to work on something small. Start with something that's an easy transaction, to use that word. You're transacting between the conscious and the subconscious. Transact, get these things going, and you train your consciousness to work in that. It's like training a muscle. You don't go to the gym and try to lift 200 pounds and you've never lifted before. You have to start out with maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 and work your way up. It's the same thing with your consciousness. Though your consciousness is capable of doing any and everything, the user, this body, the temple, the thing using the consciousness, your brain, that's using the consciousness, is virgin to it, does not know, very ignorant, very unaware of the power. And so you have to learn slowly, gradually, until you get up to a state where, man, nobody can tell me nothing. I know exactly how this thing works, and whatever I desire, I know exactly how to get it. It doesn't matter how much it is, what it is, where it is, but you have to train your consciousness to accept that, because it's like a little child, you know, that has to be trained, has to be disciplined. to accept the power that it doesn't even know that it has. Okay, so Sir T, look, I guess still busy because I know he's actually double tasking, working on the job while working here, on the One Great I Am. So I have one more video I'm going to play to close out our lessons for today. Another short video. We're just doing some short videos with Neville today on this very topic, just to give it different angles of to touch on. All right. So let me pull this up and let it play for a couple of times, and then I'll be right back. Where is it? All right. Close.
Every detail, every outcome. I was exhausted, frustrated, and nothing seemed to work out the way I wanted. Then I discovered something that changed everything. The power of letting go. You see, letting go isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that there's an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind at work. When you truly grasp this, something magical happens. Life starts working for you instead of against you. Think about when you're falling asleep. You don't try to fall asleep, do you? You relax and allow sleep to come. This same principle applies to everything in life. The more you try to force things, the more they resist. The more you let go and trust, the more naturally things flow. Most people approach life like they're swimming upstream, constantly fighting against the current. But what if I told you that everything you want is actually downstream? What if all you need to do is stop struggling and allow yourself to flow with life instead of against it? I remember a time when I was constantly trying to control everything in my life. Every detail, every outcome. I was exhausted, frustrated, and nothing seemed to work out the way I wanted. Then I discovered something that changed everything. The power of letting go. You see, letting go isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that there's an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind at work. When you truly grasp this, something magical happens. Life starts working for you instead of against you. Think about when you're falling asleep. You don't try to fall asleep, do you? You relax and allow sleep to come. This same principle applies to everything in life. The more you try to force things, the more they resist. The more you let go and trust, the more naturally things flow. Most people approach life like they're swimming upstream, constantly fighting against the current. But what if I told you that everything you want is actually downstream? What if all you need to do is stop struggling and allow yourself to flow with life instead of against it? I remember a time when I was constantly trying to control everything in my life. Every detail, every outcome. I was exhausted, frustrated, and nothing seemed to work out the way I wanted. Then I discovered something that changed everything. The power of letting go. You see, letting go isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that there's an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind at work. When you truly grasp this, something magical happens. Life starts working for you instead of against you. Think about when you're falling asleep. You don't try to fall asleep, do you? You relax and allow sleep to come. This same principle applies to everything in life. The more you try to force things, the more they resist. The more you let go and trust, the more naturally things flow. Most people approach life like they're swimming upstream, constantly fighting against the current. But what if I told you that everything you want is actually downstream? What if all you need to do is stop struggling and allow yourself to flow with life instead of against it?
All right, so that was a final clip of Neville, Neville Short, further reiterating the point that we're making here is that to use this example that we just listened to, that everything you want is downstream, meaning it's a natural flow. It is rather easy, but we go against the current. We go against the flow. We go against the process of the mind, the process of your consciousness. We We go in a way where we're trying to figure it out ourselves in terms of the conscious mind. And picture the conscious mind as the boat or the canoe, and the subconscious is the stream. But we're going up the stream rather than going with this with the stream. Going with the subconscious. But again, most of it, guys, is because we were not aware that there is such a thing. Remember, we've been taught that God is outside of us, that this God is in the sky. So we turn outward and we pray to God in the sky, like literally looking up in the sky. And we imagine that this so-called God, this being outside of ourselves, is going to answer us if we deserve it. Because we may start the prayer by saying, oh Lord, I know we're not deserving, or I know I'm not worthy. But if it's in your will, let it be. And we wonder why we don't receive these things. Because we are taking one step forward and 100 steps backwards. We're not going in it with any faith whatsoever, any feeling of the wish fulfilled. That prayer is all about doubt. That prayer not have any faith in it whatsoever. Zero. Oh Lord, I'm not worthy. I know I'm not worthy. So you're saying to yourself, I know, and you mean it too, because we've been conditioned to really feel ourselves unworthy of anything we desire, especially if it's money, because we're told money is the root of all evil. More like poverty to me, because I don't see a lot of war and violence in rich communities. I see collaboration. I see networking. But all the places where poverty exists are rampant. Nothing but violence, nothing but strife, war and strife all day, every day, nonstop. But I have not seen a rich community doing that, or people in higher places, okay, to each other. It's more collaborating. So perish that thought, that money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money, meaning that you will do anything. As they would say, people will sell them soul just to have the money. So you will do things to others in order to get it. So it's not the money. It's the individual who is attaching that type of importance on it to where anything goes so long as they have it. That's what makes it evil. I mean, that's the evil, not the money. But they've conditioned our minds to believe that. And so when we say stuff like, well, I wish I could make 10,000 a month, we kind of cringe because we feel like we're not worthy, because we're going to look at somebody who's making 1,000 a month or less than that and feel guilty that we want to make 10,000 while this person is only making 1,000. Like, how dare I want to make 10,000 a month when, we got poor people suffering. Not using common sense to say, if I make more money, the more people I can help. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I've been writing down all week, using my left hand with blue ink, as we spoke about last week. Starting this thing by saying, I am so happy and grateful now that, and you add whatever you want to add to it. I am so happy and grateful now that I am. So we're always using I am pretty much twice in the subject, in the statement. I am that I am. Okay. I am so happy and grateful now that. What are you happy and grateful about? Now that I am finally healthy, finally wealthy, finally rich, or finally made made it to wherever, a destination. But all these things are just in your consciousness. You're living it in consciousness. But writing it down with your left hand, as we spoke about last week, activates the right hemisphere of the brain. Basically, that is the sun that shines on the left side, on the west. Sun rises in the east, gives light to the west. The conscious mind desires the left hemisphere of the brain. Is the what do you call it now? Like the hard worker. On the right side is the smart worker, you know? So you desire something and the right side activates. So when you write with your left hand, your right side of your brain is what uses the left side of the body. And you're going to discover that it is terrible. Can't write with your left hand, but I'm getting better by the day. It feels funny, but after a while, it's going to start feeling natural and our second nature. All right. So we're activating.
Sir Chris,
Yes, sir.
blessed love to you,
Blessed love,
everyone.
sir, man.
You know, I find that right with my left hand is even better than my right hand.
You're right-handed.
No.
I have been going on. Said it's better than left-handed.
All right. Well, you're natural
Yes, sir.
at using your left hand. Try using your right hand then.
Come on, I do so with minimum difficulty. I wouldn't say I'm ambidextrous, but
Yeah.
I've had to do it for a little while, so it
Mhm.
still feels unnatural, but I
Yeah.
can get by with it.
All right. So here's the thing. So the reason why we did this challenge, are we challenging everyone to start doing this really? Like seriously. By the way, has anyone done it? Since we mentioned it last week, I know Sir T and I spoke about it.
Yeah, man. I've been doing it. Even this morning, I got up.
Yeah, at least one sentence a day.
Yeah, and if you can write it in cursive, right?
And yeah, cursive. You can't write it in what do you call it, block letters. No, it has to be cursive. It makes it more difficult if it's cursive. Shoot, most people can't write cursive with their right hand if they're right-handed, much less trying to do it with your left hand. Nice, Janice. So Janice says she's doing it. I like that she says, I am doing it. Nice. Anyone else writing with their left hand? If you're not naturally left-handed like Sir Marlon, right-handers we're talking about. Anybody who?
Sir Chris, you know, sir.
Where is this, Sir Marlon?
No, I was gonna say, maybe 30 and you can back me up on this. I don't think anybody who's 30 years and younger, you know. I don't even know if they know if you use cursive, you know. 'Cause I don't think it's
It's not
mandatory
taught in schools
in
anymore.
schools
No,
anymore.
no, no,
No,
no.
it's not. It's not taught in school. And well, I mean, Sir Marlon would have said naturally a cursive is what I write. Naturally,
Yep.
if I learn to write cursive in a grade one, I've never written any other way.
I do both
Even to this day.
naturally, to be honest. I do both. It all depends on what come with. I don't know. It just happen mostly scriptive. I use that mostly, but I do cursive just without thinking sometimes.
Yeah.
By the way, Miss Janice. Yeah, thank you for jumping in and putting this thing to practice. And the more people we get to do it, it's like anything that you're doing. If you do it corporately, the result will be more evident. You know, so if by you doing it, you're not only helping you, you're helping me, you're helping Sir Chris, you're helping everybody that is doing it by you doing it, because it's an energy that we are attracting around us.
Printing numbers, you know.
Yeah. By the way, Sir Chris, this is from our other program. This is from our Tuesday night program, which I know some of the Tuesday night people are here as well. But remember that we're starting. We're starting the 16 or 8 eating. Remember, we're starting that today, where we eat.
Ooh.
We eat for 8 hours and then we fast for 16 hours. So out of each 24-hour block for the day, you will eat for 8 hours, and then for the other 16 hours, you're not gonna eat.
What time we supposed to start this, sir?
Yeah, well, remember, I said my day and for your day. We said today, but in terms of the time, it depends on what's your natural timing. Remember, my night is day and so forth. So,
I know I'm eating. I haven't eaten anything all morning.
so do your
So
16 now. But if you do your 16 now, you're not gonna be awake for 8 hours to eat.
that's right.
So you might have to start tomorrow.
We figure it out, man.
Yeah.
I've been kind of doing that anyway. Like these days lately, I haven't really eaten much after 6 or 7, maybe 8 at the latest. But
These things is not only good. It's not only good for you naturally, like naturally good for your body. You know, it's good for your spiritual. You become lighter when you become light, so that you can meditate. When you're full of food and full of poop and all kind of stuff, you come out of your work mode. You can't. You're sluggish. Your whole system slow. Everything slow. Your mental is slow. Your physical is slow. You're slow.
lot of brain fog, yeah.
A lot of brain fog. So, you know, but upon a detoxing journey that to do that along with the left-handed cursive writings. And you know, we invite as many people as is able to come along. You know, I would suggest that your 16 hours fast, you would do that during the period of time where you sleep, so at least you sleep out some of the 16 hours. But it's gonna be brilliant for your body if you make it a practice. And this is not a diet, or this is a practice that you're trying to incorporate into your natural living, where for each 24-hour period you eat for 8 hours and then you stop eating for the next 16 hours. It might be difficult at first, but I don't think it will kill you. If you don't kill me, I'll kill nobody else.
We've been taught to do it the inverted way, where we eat for 16 hours and sleep for 8. You know?
Exactly. That's what we've been doing. That's what I've been doing for sure. You know,
Yeah.
Eating for 16 hours and then you sleep for 8 hours. I mean, that not cut it. It's the other way around.
Exactly. You know, so it's like I say, it's detoxing the body. And you know, what we do here every Sunday is detoxing the mind, primarily the subconscious, because it is filled with all kind of nonsense that we have programmed it with. Okay? We have consciously and or unconsciously programmed our subconscious mind with a bunch of toxic thinking. So when we're doing foolishness or thinking foolishness, it's not necessarily the conscious mind thinking it anymore. It's the subconscious mind putting you in that state to think like that, because that's the program that you have running. So when we do what we do here on Sundays is a detoxing exercise, or exercise in this case. All right, until we learn to think the right way, especially on Tuesday night with Mind Chat. Yeah, that one is more geared towards thought, thinking, rather than just the spiritual alignment part of it. So, you know, but yeah, man, writing with your left hand. Anyone else here who have not started doing it, start doing it as of today. You know, make it a practice for the next 7 days till we meet here again next week Sunday. See if we can do it every day for the week. If you cannot, I don't. No big deal, but start. Nothing gets finished until you start. Nothing start, nothing done. So, you know, and you can make the sentence short. if you want. But like I said, I am so happy and grateful now that I am, and then you add to it whatever it is. I got that from what's name there? Bob Proctor. So, you know, you write that with your left hand. The right hemisphere of the brain controls the left side of the body, and the left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body. So we've been taught throughout the world, if you're paying attention, that we should write with the right side of with our right hand. So most people are right-handed. I've heard of stories where people hands were tied behind their back. You know, back in the day when they were training you to write with your right hand only, everybody had to write with their right hand. No matter who you were, if you were naturally left-handed, you had to write with your right hand. And they forced everyone to write right-handed. And I don't know what happened as a result. I mean, everybody in my family is right-handed. I don't know if I have anybody in my family left-handed. None of my nephews, none of my nieces, none of my siblings. Eh?
Sir Chris,
Yes, sir, Marlon.
I must add that the fact that none of you are left-handed, you cannot be from the tribe of Benjamin. Oh my goodness. Sir Chris, you know, at one point in time, you know, I never fully, I just, let's just digress and talk about this just for a second to show the nonsense. The nonsense. The Bible mentions something, and I don't want to misquote it. Maybe Sir T can back me up on it, but the tribe of, is it Benjamin or Asher? I think it's Benjamin, you know, are left-handed. To this day, that if you're left-handed, you're from the tribe of Benjamin. So, question, what if this thing was a real place and both the parents are right-handed? Oh, you come from this if them right-handed. You see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
have people who are Israelites out there who are believing this thing right now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, because you wanna when you're doing this journey, this search to find the search in truth, because that's what we all set out to do. That's why we're all here right now, you know, because we found self, we found God. Just to use that word for all intents and purposes. You
Yeah.
understand? We found I am. That search brought us right back to us. But the point I'm trying to make is right now people are so eager to believe when they read this book of allegory. You understand? Is that, and they get passionate about it and they argue in discussions, heated arguments over this thing, and it
Yeah.
is not logical. It don't make no sense. So, just to say that
Yeah.
you and your family are none of you are from Benjamin, sir.
No, what's that from? Oh my God. And that is the reality for most families, because all of us here can testify that most of our families, um, people in a family are right-handed. You know, I've never seen a family where most of the people in the family are left-handed. You know,
Actually, Sir Chris,
yeah,
in my family we have uh, well, of eight siblings, two are left-handed.
your
Um,
family.
yeah, in my family, my parents, one left-handed and one right-handed. But there was a time a few years ago where down at my parents' house there were six people at the house, staying at the house at the time, and four were left-handed
Yeah.
because my mother and my father did it. Of course, my father is left-handed. One of my son, the down there, Jamali, he's left-handed. My brother daughter was there. Tahira, she used to work for us. Tahira, she's left-handed. And my nephew, Shakil, was also there. He's left-handed. As a matter of fact, among my nieces and nephews, I think 25% of my nieces and nephews are left-handed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a usual thing, but it's a weird dynamic that in my family, because it's 90% of the world that is right-handed. But
Yeah.
among my nieces and nephews, only 75% of them are right-handed. About 25% are left-handed.
So my family know my family basically
Make up your
because
mind. You balance out mine.
balance, and that's how it goes, you know.
I've eight siblings alive right now, and only two of us are left-handed. However, my sister in New York, she is fully ambidextrous.
Mm,
That is an anomaly. You
yeah,
don't find ambidextrous people. And when I say fully ambidextrous, I guess there might be a degree of dominance in one side, to be
yeah,
honest,
yeah.
based on
Mhm.
how the brain is set up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, should we just take up a pen and write with whichever hand closer to the pen?
All
I
right,
G.
all right. A person who is fully ambidextrous is most people don't even know that he's left-handed. That's how ambidextrous he is.
Yes.
LeBron James. LeBron is left-handed.
Yeah.
See, like when you look at James Harden playing basketball, immediately you see James Harden or Kelly Oubre or one of these guys, immediately you can see that they are left-handed.
Yeah.
LeBron is left-handed and you can't tell. I found out that LeBron is left. The man has been playing in the league for 21 years. I've been watching him for the entire 21 years, and I didn't know he was left-handed until about last year.
Yeah. So is Russell Westbrook.
All right, he's ambidextrous as well, because you can't tell that Westbrook. I didn't even know Westbrook was left-handed.
Yeah, he's a natural left-hander. Yeah. You know, so some people are just like that. My daughter, one of my daughters, she's right-handed naturally, but she can't use her left hand, you know, and but she don't use it for everything. Certain things, sometimes she might eat with her left hand or um, do certain things with it, but most of the time is her right hand. So I wouldn't even say she's ambidextrous, but I've noticed that when she was a child, she would use either hand, whatever she's doing. I guess whatever is near, you know, she would use it and mostly eat with her left hand at times, but she's naturally right-handed.
So she is dominant in the right hand, but
Yeah,
she has a degree
I think,
of
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask a question while we're on this topic. In my experience, I've seen this, but it is not this thing I'm about to say. I don't think it's what's that word? It is only for these people who write with the left hand. Do you find that people who write with the left hand, them always set them hands, most of them, not all, because I don't do it. Them set them on one upside down way for right, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right
yeah.
thing turns out lean.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, you
Like
realize
this.
that too?
They go
Yeah,
like
man.
that.
Some of them, I don't do it though. It look weird. But if you
Yeah.
notice the direction in which we write, we write from left to right. The man who right-handed, he's pulling the words along. The man who's left-handed, he's pushing the words along.
Oh,
So that has a lot to do with it. Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
the it's going to look different based on the hand that's writing. That is true, you know. And it definitely would feel awkward for most left-handed to write like this, like our right-hander writes. Because even when I write with my right hand, my left hand, I write the same way as I'm writing with my right. I don't turn it upside down. I write the same way as if I'm using my right hand. And interestingly, when I'm writing with my left hand, for me, Pastor T said, you don't notice it, but when I'm writing with my left hand, my right hand is still working. I have to kind of like put it aside or hold something
Consciously,
because
consciously put that
my,
aside.
my subconscious mind is still in control of that activity in writing with my right hand.
Right.
So until I get it down, I will no longer once I see I'm not using my right hand, because it's just pulling
No,
trying
I'm
to
gonna
say,
stay. I'm not. I'm good.
you know.
Right.
So once I get that down pack, I will know that the right side of my brain now is more active or is activated now. to where it is second nature, it's natural. It's now a natural
Okay.
state.
Question for
And
30. Oh, no, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
oh,
you off.
go ahead.
Question for 30. What do you notice? Because this is your forte now. What would you notice, or what do you notice? Is there an advantage in a cricketer who's a bowler, whether a pace bowler or spin bowler, a left-handed delivery versus a right-handed delivery?
That's right.
Lots of advantages. First advantage is that it's unusual, so the batsman is not accustomed to a delivery coming from that angle. The ball also swings more. There's just a bunch of advantages there.
They should ban left-handed pitchers and bowlers.
Yeah, it's the same thing with boxing. A southpaw boxer who is left-handed, he will catch you sleeping because you don't see that punch coming because the left-handed puncher doesn't have to load it up like a right-handed puncher, so you could see it coming. That left-handed, it's coming out of the darkness, it's coming out of the bushes. So there's a lot of advantages. So, and like I say, if you notice those are left, and I'm not talking about a right-handed player who can kick with his left. I'm talking about a lefty, a natural lefty, a left-handed player who have what they call one left hand, who have one left foot. Those are the most dangerous all of them. Maradona and these guys are one left guys, are lefty them.
Yeah.
It all has to do with the right doing, left doing thing that person's talking about. They are just more, they are just very John Barnes. They are just very intuitive. They see the play ahead of the play. It's like they're sitting on the other side of you, so they see what you don't see.
Yeah. The perception is different when you're looking at a lefty facing you. That's the problem. Because they turn a different way. And you're used to it's subconscious behavior, you know. That's what it is. It's subconscious. That's why what's his name box both ways. Floyd Mayweather. He box right-handed or left-handed. If he's fighting a left-hander, he fights the same stance with that guy as well. And he switches back and forth, even with another right-hander. Sometimes just to confuse him, he switches his his jab to his right hand, you know, and fights southpaw. So it's a perception that's the problem. And have you guys ever done this exercise to show you how it's funny? If you have someone behind you and you look in the mirror and they're right-handed and they're using their right hand, say you're watching a basketball game and you're looking in the mirror at the game, everybody in the game is most of the time right-handers. Almost everybody on the court, right-hander. And even Westbrook and LeBron James play with their right hand for crying out loud, and they're naturally left-handed. So everybody on the court is right-handed. But when you're watching the game, everybody looks like they're playing with their left hand, and it looks weird. It looks like a. You ever notice that left-handers look funny? A left-hander doing anything, whether it's playing basketball, shooting a basketball, cutting something, the perception of a left-hander looks weird. And when you look at somebody using their right hand, it looks natural, normal, no issue whatsoever. Have you guys ever noticed that?
Yeah, no, even the way they walk, left-handed people, you can some left-handed people just the way they walk, you know, if it's them use their hand none at all. Just the way they walk, you can tell they are left-handed. I don't know if none of you have ever taken keen notice of that left-handed people. I don't know if it's the foot that they step off with first or what makes the difference. But you can notice it.
Well, guess that 30 with the foot thing now. You as a man who has been in the service, even to this day, you are gonna naturally step off with your left foot because of the training that's in you. But
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right because even though playing football on the field and think, I am my left side. I'm left-sided dominant, meaning my first thought is gonna be to push my left foot or to swing my left hand. You understand? I have to consciously think about stepping off otherwise. Matter of fact, you ever see a man try fling a stone You know, just like bowling. If me go for a stone for fling a stone for bust a man head and thing, I'm left hand and fling it. But if my left hand occupied or something wrong with it, I'm gonna decide to my boss and pick up pick up the stone with my right hand to fling it. Me I gonna look like a sissy. You
Yes,
understand?
it's a natural.
My coordination is off.
Yeah.
So we're talking all these left hand, right hand
You
things.
have it.
Because we're not digressing from what we're talking about, you know, because it's a same, it's a left brain, right brain, it's the turn the other cheek phenomenon. It might feel unnatural for you to turn the other cheek, but it's what you must do. It's what you must do. It might seem unnatural for you to turn things over from your natural mind where you're accustomed with to your right hand. Your natural mind, I'm gonna tell you what your natural mind where you're accustomed to, what it's looking for. Your natural mind, which is your conscious mind that you're accustomed to, it's looking to your five senses for the evidence. We are asking you to turn from that natural mind to your unnatural mind, which is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not look to the five senses for the answer. The subconscious mind looks to the imagination for the answer. Get the difference? The natural mind, now your natural mind, your natural orientation that you're accustomed to, you look to your five senses to confirm if this is so, and you believe what the five senses is showing you when you're in your natural mind.
Yeah.
We are asking you to step out of that mind and step into the other mind, the left-handed mind, the other mind that you're not comfortable with it, but this is what you must do. It doesn't work any other way.
Yeah.
You must step into that other mind, and we're not telling you that you must deny what your five senses is showing you. No, what your five senses is showing you, it is showing you what is. But the other mind, which is the subconscious mind, which is the imagination, it is showing you what can be. And what you want is not what is. If what you want, if what is was what you wanted, then you wouldn't even have a problem. We wouldn't even be having this discussion.
Yeah, yeah.
You're trying to change what is. Well, your five senses, your natural mind, shows you right-handed pictures. It shows you what is. We are asking you to go to the other mind that shows you what can be. Because that's what you need. You need to know how can this be altered? How can this be changed? You can't change it with your right hand. You have to go left-handed to change it. You can't change it with your conscious mind. You have to go subconscious mind to change it. All right. So when we're using these comparisons, we are just talking about things that you guys are accustomed to, the right and left hand thing. But it's all leading back to conscious mind, subconscious mind. It's all leading back to five senses and imagination. All right, so you have to, what the five senses is telling you, the five senses can only tell you exactly what is happening right now. The five senses is accurate to what you're seeing right now. Yeah. But if you want to see something new, you have to turn from the five senses and turn to the imagination. In the world of five senses is telling you, say, all that you're seeing now, that is the fact and that's all that can be. That's what your five senses is telling you. Well, your imagination show you something else that can be, even though your five senses is not confirming. All right, so this is why we practice the left-handed things, and it's called, when you practice these left-handed things, it causes you to trust the other side of your brain. It causes you to trust your imagination because it's uncomfortable, but it works. All right.
Sir, you're saying I'm writing here, switching to the subconscious mind is what the parable book was talking about when Jesus said to turn the other cheek.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Certain. I mean, looking at that naturally, if you look at that from from a natural standpoint, surely you wouldn't have a man slap you on one side of the cheek and you turn the other side for him to slap it. What's the glory in that? What are you receiving? How are you going to benefit from that? Make it make sense.
You're being the bigger man, as they would say.
Give me the bigger man to get a big box. And you're turning the other side of the cheek to get a bigger box. That's all you're doing.
It doesn't make any sense because the man halfway knocked you out with the first box. Why am I going to make him fully make me unconscious? That no, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
You can't hear
because
me, right? I'm change my device in there, so.
yeah, man, I'm hearing this, Sir
Oh,
Marlon.
okay.
Yeah. And people take that thing literal and misconstrue what that passage was trying to say. You know, that it is if you go back and read the passage, I'm sure you'll find, you know, the example we're using now as to when the question was asked and Jesus said, return the other cheek and whatnot. So or whatever statement he was given at the time, using that example. Clearly, you will now see that, oh, it never meant that you should turn for the guy to hit you on the other side. It is completely talking about surrendering your the conscious mind, you know, surrendering your desire to the subconscious mind, letting go consciously and surrender to the
Yes.
subconscious. That's what it is saying,
No, it's water.
you know.
That's water. It's okay.
So it's not something that is what you call it now, speaking of a historical event or even present day, that's what you should do. If someone hits you across the face, you should turn the other cheek. No, this is all baloney, as they would say. None of it is what that's not what it means. Literally, using this example here is saying that you should turn over your desires, turn over your strife, turn over your hardship, turn over your difficulties, your struggles, turn that over to the other cheek, the other side, which is the subconscious. You know, we have two cheeks, one conscious, one subconscious. You know, turn over to the other cheek. Let that part of it deals with it. You know, but it's amazing how the old belief, which is probably still current, most people still believe that foolishness, has really taken us off course in understanding what the scripture is telling you to do. And with that ignorance, you know, it has caused so many problems, so many issues in our lives. Because if we understood it at the time, if they had taught it to us this way, we would have been so receptive and understand that, yeah, that's what it really means. That really makes more sense now. We wouldn't be fighting with it saying that, oh, me now make a next man box me in my face and I take it like that. We would really understand it and flow, go with it, not thinking of it meaning violence or any indifference with someone else. The indifference is with yourself, within yourself. That's where the indifference is. It's not with someone else. You know, as we're saying here today, let go, or until you let go, your desires will not show. So you're letting go consciously of worrying and fretting and wondering and pondering anymore about if and when and how this thing is going to work itself out. That is not the job of the conscious mind. So you're letting go of that control that you're trying to have within yourself. You're trying to control the situation. You know, when you're driving the car, your only job is to steer the vehicle. You're not in charge of running the engine. Okay, all that stuff is already aligned and figured out. Your job is to just steer the car where you want it to go, and it will take you there. You're turning over the job, there to that engine. And so long as it's what I say, long as it's got its maintenance and all this different type of stuff, you don't question if it can drive long distance. You already know that the vehicle is maintained. So you jump in it and you're off to wherever you're going. You have full faith, full trust that it's going to take you. Your only job is to start the car, stay on the road, stay in alignment, to use that word, and you will end up where you set out to go. But the minute you try to figure out or wondering if it's going to make it, and if there are cops on the road, and if there's potholes, and if it's busy today on the road, or if I'm going to encounter any impediments, and you start worrying about all these different things, you're going to create those things that you worry about. You're going to face those hardship. You understand? All these things are going to find its way in your path. And you're going to say, man, I should have taken that road or this road. Not realizing that any road you drove on with that attitude, you were bound to find some type of impediment, some issues it was waiting for you wherever you went. Okay? Because you're the only one who's creating those outcomes. So switching different roads isn't going to switch the outcome. Switching to the other cheek, switching your conscious mind off and align with the subconscious mind. That is the master, the all-seeing eye that knows the outcome that you don't understand or will ever understand. Turn it over to that mind, and it will figure out and create an easy flowing outcome, the entire way. And you would probably end up saying, man, I was worried about nothing. This the minute I start worrying about this thing, it happened. And you says to yourself, I was worried for nothing. How many times have we said that? I just got myself all, excited for no reason. Look how simple this thing was. It was because you had let go, you know, of the worry and frustration and the hardship. So we do it naturally, and we don't realize it. What we want to do now is to just really understand that it is something that we have to become really aware of and just do it naturally. you know that way we can desire just about anything, because at this point it really wouldn't matter so much so what the desire is, if it's big or small, extraordinary or ordinary. It would not really matter. It would be a matter of want. Is that what you really want? you know and if that's what you want, you just desire it and it happens, because you have now understood the sequences of the mind and how it really works. And there's nothing too great or too small for it to accomplish. All you have to do is apply yourself. And so we're just constantly undoing, reprogramming. We're learning how to think the right way, and we are undoing the negative or the foolish programs that we were given, and then we are redoing our programmings ourselves, or as a network, among ourselves. We're no longer listening to the noise out there in the world. We're listening to ourselves. We're listening to our truest form, our truest being, which is our consciousness. We're listening to that, knowing that it is all potent, all present, and all knowing. We don't have to worry about the hardship that we're presented with day in, day out in this everyday life. We know that it's just a collective consciousness at work. Okay? And there's going to be chaos, there's going to be hardship, there's going to be everything. Last week we did what we said, we're always perfect. We're always perfect, perfectly expressing whatever we're conscious of. None of us is imperfect. Everyone is perfect, perfectly doing the things that we don't desire to happen, but because we were conscious of it for some reason, it happened. So we're aligned with something that is going to express itself based on what we were conscious of. The consciousness cannot fail, ever. It's all knowing. So if you take a hammer and you nail two pieces of wood together, and you take a hammer and hit somebody upside the head, the hammer is still going to work. Nothing wrong with the hammer. It is the use. The hammer is working perfectly, doing exactly what it's supposed to do, hit something. But it's what it hits and the outcome that determines the expression or the feeling, or the satisfaction or lack of, So, but yeah, until you let go, guys, let go of reconditioning, conditioning, let go of adding to, taking away. As scripture says, do not add to the word, do not take away from the word. When we let go of that stuff and turn over to the other cheek, we will, our desires will show sooner than later. Sir T, any final words? Or Sir Marlon?
No, sir, Chris. I think you've said it all. So just put it into practice. Remember, we're starting we're doing the left-handed cursive writings, I am sentences, and try to do the same sentences over and over. Not change it too much. Write the same thing. Pick something that would bring you to your place of opulence, happiness that include health, wealth, peace of mind, financial freedom. A short sentence, you don't want nothing else. If you're healthy, you're wealthy, you have peace of mind, and you have money, you're good. All right, so write a sentence like that and write it repetitively. Left hand, I think it works well if you do it right as you wake up or right before you go to bed. Them two times is right before you wake, right as you wake up, right before you go to bed.
Yeah, doing it before you go to your bed is great because the subconscious mind takes over after the conscious mind falls asleep. So I do think writing it right before you go to bed is the best time to do it. Anytime is great, but the best time, I believe, in knowing what the subconscious mind does is doing it, because that's the last thing you're conscious of doing. And usually, whatever the last thing you're conscious of doing, the subconscious mind is also conscious of that, picks it up. And another reason why too is because as you do it over and over and over, repetition also impresses the subconscious mind, because it is repetition that we become autonomous. This is how we learn how to drive cars and ride a bicycle and learn the new job that we just got. This is how we learn how to cook and do the simplest things, is by our cook, really good, by doing the same thing over and over and over until it becomes a subconscious behavior. You become autonomous. Okay, meaning that you no longer think of what you're doing, you just do it. So repetition, in this case, writing the same thing for days, for weeks, months, and on end, doing that eventually starts to train and impress upon the subconscious mind the very thing that you're writing. And you know how the subconscious mind knows that whatever you're writing is because as you're writing it, you are also thinking it to yourself. You can't write it and don't think it, It's virtually impossible. Whatever you write, you are thinking it. And what you think is recorded into the subconscious mind. And when you write it for the first time, because if you say something about being rich or wealthy, yeah, it's not going to register in the subconscious mind, and it should not. That is on purpose. God forbid, if you want to use that term, that you write something that you didn't mean, and the subconscious mind carries it out. So this is why the subconscious mind does not take anything for the first time, whether it be a good deed or bad. It does not, because it's a protective mechanism. It needs to know, are you serious? because it does not care if you're serious or not. So to protect you, it gives you grace. And when you continue to do it, the subconscious might say, oh, so you keep doing the same thing every time. So it must mean that that's what you want. And it carries it out. Okay? So that's why the more you hear something, the more you learn it. Like music, songs. We've known songs now that we've never written down, never wrote them down. And we can sing it from beginning to end. And we've never written a word. That's because the subconscious mind, by way of the conscious mind, by hearing it and thinking it and singing along over and over and over, it was written in the subconscious. And no matter how many years down the road, you haven't heard the song. You hear it 10 years later, and you know that song word for word. And you have not sung it in a decade. You understand? But that is a subconscious download um, that you have there. So, right, like I said, I am so happy and grateful. Know that, you know, I am so happy and grateful know that I am. And then you add to it whatever your wish is or goal is or desire is or dream is, know that I finally bought my own home or I finally paid off my home, whatever it is, write that and write it over and over and over um, the whole week, the whole month until it becomes natural. And watch and see. So we're looking for some testimonies. Whatever you guys write down, come back and let us know if what you wrote down came to fruition, or it's you start to believe it more now. Because sometimes it's a belief issue too. But the more you write it, the more it creates these neural pathways in your brain, especially the right side of the brain using the left hand, and start to create that energy, that pull to start to finally grasping this thing is really possible. And you start to catch the feeling. So everything does work hand in hand. So do the exercise, guys, and let us know down the road, sooner or later, how it's working out for you. All right. If you've gotten better or you are still, working on it, but you're making progress and whatnot. So let us know. All right. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining here. Thank you for being here again. Today's topic was, until you let go, your desires will not show. Let go of the negative, let go of the worry, the frustration, all that stuff. Turn over to your subconscious, your greater side of you. And in due time, you will have the experience or the desire come true. All right. Love you guys. See you next week. Over.